Hey kids, hope you're outside enjoying God's beautiful creation and the sunshine and spending wonderful time with your family. Today's story is from the Tiny Truths Illustrated Bible, and it's a story that sounds like it's going to have a really terrible ending, but we're surprised by the beautiful ending that Jesus brings us. Hope you enjoy it.
The very next day, Jesus was led to a place where criminals were taken, even though he was God's perfect Son, who had never done anything wrong. There, just outside the city, he allowed himself to be punished like a criminal, and then he died. Which might have been the end of the story, except that it wasn't. This was part of God's plan. Jesus' death would lead to a new life for everyone. It would lead to restoration, which means making things right again. It looked like a terrible ending, but it was actually an unbelievable new beginning. Jesus comes back. Later that day, Jesus' body was wrapped in a cloth and laid in a special place called a tomb in a garden. An enormous stone was rolled in front of the tomb's door. 2 guards stood by the stone so that no one could get in or out. Everything was dark. 2 days later, early in the morning, a group of women who loved Jesus went to the garden. They were sad because they thought this was the end of the story, and they wanted to see Jesus one more time. As they walked, they wondered how they would be able to move the huge stone in front of the tomb. "Who will roll it away for us?" they asked each other. But when they arrived in the garden, they saw something they were not expecting. Someone had moved the stone. "Don't be afraid," said a voice. There, on top of the enormous stone, was an angel. "I know you are looking for Jesus. He is not here. He is alive again. Come and see." The women peered into the dark tomb. It was empty. They were overjoyed, amazed, and terrified all at once. Could Jesus really be alive? Was the story not over after all? "You must go and tell his disciples," said the angel. So the women ran as fast as they could. But suddenly, someone appeared right in front of them. It was the one person they had most wanted to see. It was Jesus. He was really alive. They rushed to him. "Lord," they cried. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Go and tell my friends everything." The disciples were hiding. They were sad that Jesus had died and frightened that they might be taken away too, because they were his friends. The women rushed in, bursting with excitement over their incredible news. "Jesus is alive!" they shouted. But the men didn't believe them. Before long, Jesus himself appeared. At first, the disciples were terrified. They thought he was a ghost. "Don't be afraid of me," he told them. "I'm not a ghost. Come, touch me and see. Give me something to eat. I'm hungry." The disciples were full of joy and wonder. Jesus really was alive. They could hardly believe what was happening. You saw everything I did and heard what I taught you. Jesus said to them, You've seen everything that has happened to me. Now I want you to go everywhere and tell everyone about it. Go and make new disciples, people like you who will love me and follow me. Tell everyone about my love and my forgiveness. Teach them to obey everything I have taught you, to live the way God wants you to live. And remember, I will always be with you wherever you go.